I am going to be doing a series kind of breaking down what is going on in Sudan. As we all know, there is a genocide happening, and more videos are being released daily, and things are getting worse and worse every single day. I think it's really important to understand the who the RSF are, who are the SAF, and understand how the genocide started, the history behind Sudan and the civil war, to understand how it got to this place. I want to let you all know I'm not an expert. I'm a historian that looks at facts and connects the dots. If I get anything wrong throughout this series, please correct me. Again, I am not an expert. I'm someone who believes that connecting the dots and sharing information is important to understand the true nature of the severity of the genocide that is happening. The first TikTok I'm going to discuss is going beyond the RSF. The RSF is the main people that are behind this genocide. And I'm going to be breaking down how the RSF started and kind of understanding their mentality and the history behind how they came into power. The RSF stands for the Rapid Support Forces. The Rapid Support Forces are a paramilitary force primarily consisting of Janjaweed militias, formerly operated by the government of Sudan. The RSF later mobilized its forces against the Sudanese government in 2023, initiating the ongoing Sudanese civil war. I think it's important to talk about the Janjaweed and how they are the ones behind the genocide in Darfur as well. So this is the Janjaweed and how they later became the RSF. The Janjaweed are a Sudanese Arab nomad militia group operating in the Sahel region, specifically in Sudan, particularly in Darfur and eastern Chad. They are also been speculated to be active in Yemen. According to the United Nations definition, Janjaweed membership consists of Arab nomad tribes from the Sahel, the core of whom are Abala Arabs traditionally employed in camel herding, with significantly recruitment from the Bagara. I apologize for any of my mispronunciations. I'm doing the best I can. Janjaweed nomads were initially at odds with Darfur's sedentary population due to competition over natural grazing grounds and farmland, a conflict exacerbated by dwindling rainfall and drought. The Janjaweed were a major player in the Darfur conflict between 2003 and 2020 in opposition to the Sudan Liberation Movement/Army and the Justice and Equality Movement rebels. In 2013, the Rapid Support Forces grew out of the Janjaweed. The Janjaweed's campaign, which was characterized as genocide by U.S. Secretary of State of Colin Powell in 2004, drew international condemnation, but the government of Sudanese President Omar Hassan al-Bashir denied any connection between itself and the Janjaweed. Some 7,000 troops under the banner of the African Union were dispatched to Darfur in 2004, but the force was too small to act as an effective deterrent to the Janjaweed continued attacks. The AU presence was bolstered by a UN nations peacekeeping contingent in 2008, and the combined force, which swelled to more than 22,000, curtailed Janjaweed activity in Darfur. The group evolved from so-called Janjaweed militias, which fought in a conflict in the 2000s in the Darfur region, where they were used by the government of long-ruling President Omar al-Bashir to help the army put down a rebellion. An estimated 2.5 million people were displaced and 300,000 killed in the conflict. International Criminal Court prosecutors accused government officials and militia commanders of genocide, war crimes, and crimes against humanity in Darfur. Over time, the militia grew. It was made into the RSF in 2013, and its forces were used as border guards in particular. In 2015, the RSF, along with Sudan's army, began sending troops to fight in the war in Yemen alongside Saudi and Emirati forces. In the same year, 2015, the group was granted the status of a regular force. In 2017, a law legitimizing the RSF as an independent security force was passed. In addition to the Darfur region, the RSF was deployed to the states such as South Kordofan and the Blue Nile, where it was accused of committing human rights abuses. In a 2015 report, Human Rights Watch described its forces as men with no mercy. The RSF is commanded by General Mohammed Hamdan Dagalo, commonly known as Hamedi or Little Mohammed. He currently holds the position of deputy head of Sudan's ruling Sovereign Council. Dagalo was born into an impoverished family that settled in Darfur in the 1980s. He dropped out of school in third grade and made a living trading camels before becoming a Janjaweed leader when the Darfur conflict broke out. As the RSF became more prominent and its role in the country's security affairs grew, Dagalo's business interests prospered with help from al-Bashir. His family expanded its holdings in gold mining, livestock, and infrastructure. In April 2019, the RSF participated in a military coup that removed al-Bashir after months of demonstrations against his 30-year rule. 4 months later, the military and the pro-democracy movement reached a power-sharing deal, which established a joint military civilian council that would govern Sudan for the next 3 years until elections were held. Dagalo was announced as vice chairman of the council headed by al-Burhan. The army and the pro-democracy groups have demanded the RSF's integration into the regular armed forces. Adel Abdel Ghaffar, a fellow at the Middle East Council, said the RSF has resisted integration into the army, understanding it would lose its power. This is another description about the coup that happened in 2021. It is from the BBC. A joint military-civilian government was then established, but that was overthrown in another coup in October 21. The coup was staged by the two men at the center of the current conflict, General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, the head of the armed forces and in effect the country's president, and his deputy, RSF leader Gen. Mohammed Hamdan Dagalo, better known as Hamedi. But then General Burhan and Gen. Dagalo disagreed on the direction the country was going in and the proposed move towards civilian rule. The main sticking points were plans to incorporate the 100,000-strong RSF into the army and who would then lead the new force. The suspicions were that both generals wanted to hang on to their positions of power, unwilling to lose wealth and influence. Now, who is funding the RSF? Who is behind giving them the weapons and the forces? It is claimed that the UAE are the ones mainly behind this. I'm going to kind of describe the UAE. The United Arab Emirates, UAE, also known as the Emirates, is a country in West Asia situated at the eastern end of the Arabian Peninsula. It is a federal, semi-constitutional monarchy made up of 7 emirates, with Abu Dhabi serving as its national capital, while Dubai is the country's largest city. It shares land borders with Oman to the east and northeast, and with Saudi Arabia to the southeast, as well as maritime borders in the Persian Gulf with Qatar and Iran, and with Oman in the Gulf of Oman. As of 2024, the UAE has an estimated population of over 10 million, which is multi-ethnic. Islam is the majority religion, and Arabic is the official language, while English is the most spoken language and the language of business. United Arab Emirates is named after the 7 emirates that formed a federation: the Emirate of Abu Dhabi, the Emirate of Dubai, the Emirate of Ajman, the Emirate of Sharjah, the Emirate of Ras Al Khaimah, the Emirate of Al Qawain, the Emirate of Fujairah. That's part 1, and I'm now going to do part 2, where I talk more about the UAE and why they want to fund the RSF, why they are wanting to be a part of this genocide, and then how Israel is involved, because of course Israel is involved. If there's any questions, please put them down below. Remember, I'm not an expert. I'm someone who is just doing research and believes everyone should be educated to understand the severity of the genocide.